You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Okay, guys, it is still early. It's 2 o'clock here on the West Coast. It's like 5 o'clock on the East Coast. You still got time. It's Valentine's Day. In case you forgot, now's the time to go get something for your significant other. You know, get them a card, some flowers, some chocolate, something. Because you don't want to be in the doghouse for an entire year. So it's not too late. Get it now. Don't forget. Stay tuned for the Dan Wickline Show. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience. It is February 14th, and it is Valentine's Day. Hello, Triple B. Good to see you. So remember to do something nice for your significant other today. I can't because mine is currently 70 miles away and dealing with COVID. So hello, Ed. Good to see you. So today we are going to talk about the Super Bowl commercials. Not going to talk about the Super Bowl. Leave that to sports talk. We're going to talk about not so much the commercials, the trailers that popped up during the Super Bowl. So we're going to look at the different trailers. Hey, cool. But before that, we got a couple bits of news to cover. It's always good stuff happening, and things are starting to move forward quickly on a few productions. The Penguin. Now, the other day, the Penguin added Renzi Feliz, who is believed to be playing some kind of teenager that the Penguin befriends, which sounds kind of strange. But yeah, I guess the Penguin makes a teenage friend, and we know that Christine Milioti is going to be playing Sophia Falcone. But there's some new actors that just got added. These were just added. We don't know who they're going to play yet, but there's some pretty good actors. We got Michael Kelly. You might know him from House of Cards or Jack Ryan. There's Shohreh Aghdashloo from The Expanse and House of Sand and Fog, and Deidre O'Connell from Outer Range and Dana H. on Broadway. So there's three pretty good actors right there added to the cast. So the fact that they're adding these tells us they're going to start filming this right around the corner. Now, this is going to be an 8-episode drama, and it's going to continue from the Matt Reeves Batman. So it's just going to pick up and go. And, again, Colin Farrell is reprising his role as the Penguin, which means he's going to be in all that makeup and stuff a lot for 8 episodes. Ed says, I didn't watch a single minute of the Super Bowl, so this should be interesting. Jay says, it'll only be the trailers, so you're good at it. Hey, we could do Super Bowl talk. And, there's some pretty interesting stuff. The fact that the losing team had both their offensive and defensive coordinators hired away from them today. So the odds of them getting back to the Super Bowl just got a little less smaller. But, well, okay. So we'll move on, though. We'll stay away from sports talk. Kyle and I could do a whole show on sports talk. You know that. This is the news story that blew my mind. Kyle brought this to my attention. I think he was going to talk about it last night on his Hot Takes show. France's defense minister has come out and angrily slammed Black Panther Wakanda Forever. because for what it calls a false and misleading representation of French troops. He says, I strongly condemn the false and misleading representation of our armed forces. And this was from Defense Minister Sébastien Lecornu. Now, he said this on Sunday. Now, this in the franchise's second installment, there's a group of mercenaries that basically storm this base trying to steal vibranium that belongs to Wakanda. And it turns out that they're portrayed as French soldiers. Now, the defense minister's reaction comes after a French journalist pointed out the similarities between the camouflage uniforms and of those mercenaries, and specifically French troops who operated in Mali for almost 10 years. In a statement to CNN, a French defense ministry said, while all the other elements of the film are fictional, names and places, there is a clear designation of France. The French military is painted as being involved in pillage of resources of the country. And of course, this is unacceptable. So France is a little upset about their portrayal. I could get in trouble for making this joke, but hey, at least when the Wakandans show up, they didn't surrender. That's an improvement. Let's see. Ed says, being a Lions fan watching the Super Bowl never became a tradition for me. But you do watch football on Thanksgiving then, if you're a Lions fan. So that's a fair trade, right? All right. We have some Deadpool news. It seems that it's been kind of weird. They announced that Hugh Jackman was coming back, and we know now that he's working out like crazy to build back up for it. But then it just kind of stopped. There's been no news about Deadpool since. We know that Sean Levy is going to be directing it, and he came from Free Guy. So they've worked together in the past in one other movie. Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese are returning to pen the script. So there's all that, but there hasn't been any movement. Well, we got our first casting news. Emma Corrin from The Crown has joined the cast. Now, they're not saying who she's playing, but I don't know. I'm going to have to start looking through and see if I can figure out characters she might play. When I first saw her, I thought, oh, she'd be a good Domino, but we already have Domino. But then again, we're going to be jumping multiverses, so maybe they're recasting Domino. Don't know. All right, so then we had one other thing, which was a quote from Jonathan Majors talking about Kang, who he calls the character incredible. And this was in a red carpet conversation they had with Deadline. But he teased kind of what we can expect in the Ant-Man movie. And he said, this is not an Avengers film. So it's not as if Kang is going up against multiple Avengers, which we're looking forward to. He says but here he's going up against one. This particular Avenger, Scott Lang, is, in my opinion, our most humble, our most human hero, going up against essentially the biggest bad of the phase. You learn so much, and the chemistry begins to push the phase forward. So it's quite exciting. So, hey, Backwoods, glad you could make it. Yep, the experience has a lot of great stuff. Sales shows, entertainment shows like this one, where we talk about pop culture news. And like today, we're going to talk about the trailers that dropped during the Super Bowl. So stick around. I think you'll like it here. And hit that subscribe button since you're on YouTube, because we're going to be doing a big giveaway. When we get to 1,500 subscribers, we're going to give away 15 CGC graded comic books that are valued around $100 each. So, you're going to be one a part of that. So definitely hit that subscribe button. All right, that covers all of the news that I have seen so far today. And we are going to talk about the different trailers that popped up. Now, a couple of the trailers were interesting because they gave us a little snippet of it during the Super Bowl, but pretty much said, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube for the rest of it. So the commercial was basically going, look, we know you're here to watch the Super Bowl, but forget the Super Bowl, go to YouTube and watch the video. And from what I understand, a lot of people did, because a couple of them were pretty big trailers. Now, we had some that I didn't really think gave us a lot of new. Start with the Dungeons and Dragons trailer. Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. This didn't really give us a lot of character moments. This was more of a montage of action scenes. And this is a film that I'm actually really looking forward to. I think Chris Pine is great. I look forward to seeing what he does as a bard. And a bard is my favorite D&D character. It was the first thing I played, and kind of my heart always goes back to that because there's such a unique character in the game. I always wondered why World of Warcraft didn't add a bard. They did. There was a April Fool's thing where they talked about adding a bard as a playable class, and but it turned out it was, like I said, it was just an April Fool's joke, which was horrible because that would have been awesome to have a bard in the game, especially since they already have like that band that plays at Dark Moon Fair. But I think that the movie is going to be good. And I think it's pretty much just like medieval Avengers in a lot of ways. I think that's kind of the approach. Don't bring up pandas. Those guys were horrible. And talk about cultural appropriation. Man. It says, I can see you being Scanlan. Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, I love bards, but pandas. Man, Jay, you're just going to throw me off by bringing up Mr. Pandaria. So 7 feet taller. So I thought the trailer may have been a waste of a commercial because, like I said, it was just a bunch of fast action, and there really wasn't anything to make it differentiate between all the movies that are out there. A little bit of humor, a lot of action. It was just a teaser trailer, but it would have been nice if they would have given us a little something that says, hey, this is a D&D trailer. This is, all the stuff you've been hearing about D&D and stuff. This is what D&D is. And you don't really get that, I think they could have done something better with that, especially if they're going to put it in a Super Bowl spot. Like I said, it just kind of seems like a missed opportunity. The second trailer that popped up, and we're going to go more into depth into some of these, but the first couples, like I said, I think they were more just teasers than they were actual trailers. This one, the next one up was Transformers Rise of the Beasts. And the impression I got coming out of that, trailers, it's a matter of what they make you think of. And for me, and it's probably unique to me, but I spent most of that trailer thinking, I think Anthony Ramos is going to become a star. He's in this movie. He's going to be in the Ironheart series as the Hood. That means he's probably got more coming up in the future of the MCU. He led In the Heights, and he was in Hamilton. And you look at this guy and you're thinking, he's got the look. I think as he ages a little, he's probably going to become a big star. maybe not like, sell out a movie on his own type, but I think he's going to be a good name, and one of those that you put in your movie because it's going to get people's attention. So, which is bad that's what I was thinking about, because the problem I have with the Transformers movies is they're hard to watch. Everything moves so fast and jerkedly that you can't really see the transformations very well. You don't really get how the transformations work. So it just looks like suddenly one blob turned into another blob. Oh, that car became a gorilla. Okay. It doesn't really stand out. Jay says the first one and Bumblebee were the best in my opinion. I saw the first one, and like I said, I never got into the movies because I'm a Transformers the movie fan, the animated movie from a long ass time ago. And when I want to be able to look at it and see that it's the robot or it's a car or it's a truck, and the robots are so, just like I said, kind of a blob. They don't really have a discernible shape. There's no clarity to the designs, and that's where I have a problem. Is that they kind of took away. These were toys we had that literally had to look like a robot and the vehicle that they were supposed to be. So, it made sense when you looked at it. His chest was the windshield, his arm, all that made sense. These things just, I don't know, they just don't have that feel to them. Hey, Ken, it's good to see you. Backwood says, don't get me started on Transformers. I just had to go through Transformers cards in my Magic cards. All right. Well, we won't be talking about Transformers too much more, but I'll be curious to see what the animals look like and how well they're done there. But I just don't like the robot design, so it's really hard for me to get into the Transformers. Another trailer we got that also is hard for me to get into is Fast 10, Fast X, whatever we're calling this one. Because I tapped out probably after Too Fast, Too Furious. I think the only other one I saw was Calvin and Hobbes, or Hobbs and Shaw, or whatever they called it. And that was because there was nothing else in the theater and Lisa wanted to go to a show. So I'm not the guy for these movies because there's just so much suspension of disbelief needed. And the things they do with those vehicles that just aren't physically possible, just really have a hard time with that. So, yeah, so, and then you see the trailer thing, and it's just this montage of actors we've seen. It's like, that's Jason Statham, and oh, that's Jason Momoa, and okay, that's Vin Diesel, and isn't The Rock? No, The Rock's not in this anymore, and it just, again, there wasn't much to it, So that one didn't get my attention much at all. But the one that did get my attention, and it's mainly because I have no idea what it's about, is 65. Now, I thought maybe this was like a baseball movie, something to do with the year 1965, but no. This is some kind of time travel or something to do with mankind discovering Earth 65 million years ago. So basically, a group of humans show up on Earth back when the dinosaurs were around, or I don't know. I'm not quite sure where this one came from. I've heard little rumblings about it, but not much. And again, they do that super fast cut, jumping all over the place thing where they just want to show a lot of kinetic action and not give away too much of the plot, which is fine. But that works really well when it's a movie you know the characters from. When it's a new movie and you're trying to decide if this is something you want to see, that's a little rough, you know? It's a little hard to tell, okay, why are they shooting laser guns at dinosaurs? Where did the laser guns come from? Why are they there? Why are the humans there? Is this a Jurassic Park thing? You know, like I said, there really isn't much there to hang your hat on yet. It's all just, yeah, it's just, I don't know. 65, I'm curious about it, but I really need to see another trailer, one that actually kind of tells us what the hell's going on. So I know if I want to see this movie or not. But all right, that's some of the. We got a couple more to talk about when we come back. But let's go ahead and we'll take our first break, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
Welcome back to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience. We've got a great lineup today. We've got comic review shows, basically. We've got in stores this week where myself and Jay and Kyle go through the latest books. Sometimes we're joined by a guy named Sean, and we talk about the latest books to give you an idea of what you should be looking for. And then the crew over at Space Cadet comes on after that, and they do Minute to Skim It, where they literally just grab up the new books in read through one for a minute and then tell you about it while another person's reading a different book. It's a pretty fun show as well. Mindhunter won't be on tonight. He's taking his wife out on the town. So, but then Country Road Comics is on tonight, and it's leftovers night. And by leftovers, basically the things that he's bringing back from the convention he was just at, they're going up for auction because he doesn't want to take the time to put them back into the inventory. So you can get some really good sales tonight on Country Road Comics. Also, like I said earlier, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, you should go to YouTube and subscribe, because we're going to be giving away 15 CGC graded comics. Once we hit 1,500 subscribers, each show will have one to give away. So here on the Dan Wickline Show, I'll have one to give away. Comic Collectibles will have one. Mindhunter will have, everybody will have one. So you'll want to be a subscriber and, tell other people about it so we get up to that 1,500 as quickly as possible. How do you sign up to actually purchase off live streams? I don't do the live shows, so I'm not sure. Jay might be able to help you with that in chat. Or Jay, go ahead. Thought you were going to speak, Jay. All right. Well, we're going to continue on, but backwoods, Jay will try to type up to you so you can see what's going on. There's some breaking news, and this has been kind of speculated, but according to Deadline, this just dropped about half hour ago. Deadline has confirmed the news that Harrison Ford, who is going to be playing General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross in the upcoming Captain America New World Order, is going to be playing the President of the United States. So Thaddeus Ross, or Thunderbolt Ross, will be the President in New World Order. Now, I don't think he starts off as the President. I think there's another actor, Dermot Mulroney, who's playing the President. Then something happens to him and Ross gets bumped up. At least that's the way it looks from the trailers. But in a quote to Entertainment Weekly, which was published today, Fahey says, "This is certainly a big part for Thaddeus Ross. He's the President of the United States in the film. And with Harrison, you think about Air Force One, and you think about some of his confrontations with the President in Clear and Present Danger. There's a dynamic between President Ross and Sam Wilson. They have a history together, but in this film, we'll be seeing the dynamic between Captain America and the President of the United States in a way that is just incredible." So there we go. The confirmation that Thaddeus Ross will be president in New World Order. Okay, backwards there. Jay's just put up an answer for you. So. All right, let's go on. We've got a couple more trailers to talk about. There was one trailer that was really weird because I don't think it counts as a trailer. It's the Super Mario one, because it came across like it was a commercial. And the whole thing is that people are like, oh, Chris Pratt's going to be voicing Super Mario or Mario. So, but he never speaks in the commercial, and it's done like a commercial. And it was just this really weird thing. And I didn't even realize it was a trailer. Rotten Tomatoes put out all the trailers from the show back to back to back in one video. And that's the only reason I knew it was even there. And I watched that thinking, is that a trailer? Don't think it's a trailer. Unless it's a clip from them, maybe they do the commercial in the movie. But yeah, that was a weird one. I'm not sure about that one at all. All I know is that they give you a website on there, and I haven't gone to the website. but it might be worth checking out that website if you're a fan of Super Mario Brothers. So now we're going to get into the trailers that I thought had a lot of potential. And we got to start with Harrison Ford. The Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Still not a big fan of that title. But the Dial of Destiny, that I do love seeing Ford back as Indiana Jones. Just there was somebody was posting on Facebook and said, let's all pretend we're still in the 90s. Say something that would only make sense in the 90s. And I responded, hey, check it out. We're going to get Michael Keaton as Batman again, and Harrison Ford's back as Indiana Jones. That could have worked in the 90s or today. Yeah, so Harrison Ford, now it's interesting. I heard him on an interview the other day, and he was saying that they're using some archival footage for the movie, which surprised me because I thought they were doing the de-aging technology. And they're probably doing a mix of all these different things. But from what he was saying, there is some footage in this film that was shot in the other movies and then not used, and now they're using it here. So I'm really kind of curious to see how that's going to play out. But watching the movie and seeing him still jumping around and doing action and stuff, and I think they're going to portray him as being a little younger than Harrison Ford is. I mean, because everything he was doing, I kept thinking, oh, he's going to hurt himself. He's going to break a hip. Harrison Ford is 80 years old. 80. And he's doing these things of like jumping from one car to one thing to onto a streetcar or whatever the stunt was, or jumping out of an airplane. And I get stuntmen, special effects. But we have to accept that this guy can do this at the age of 80. So I think they're going to be de-aging him a little bit and trying to convince us that he's not 80. Which, as long as they establish that, I think it's fine. But if they don't really take the time to establish how old he is, and we're just led to believe that he's as old as Harrison Ford is, that's going to be kind of hard to... There's some suspension. That's a little too much suspension of disbelief. Okay? I mean, I watched my father moving around here at 80. My mom is going to turn 80 this week. And she's not jumping out of airplanes. She's not leaping onto moving streetcars. And she's definitely not fighting Nazis. She could have when she was younger, but yeah, I'm with you, Backwoods. You know, I'm 52, and I don't think I could do any of the stuff he's doing. You know, just yeah. So I think they need to establish that he's not as old as Harrison Ford is, or it's going to be kind of an odd movie, because I don't think you're going to buy it. I think you're going to be sitting, ooh, did he hurt himself there? How would he do that? Oh, if he fell, he's going to break his hip. So, and I'm not trying to diss octogenarians. It's just kind of a reality thing that your body can't do what it used to do when you're even just 20 years younger, you know? So if they convince us that he's 65, maybe, but 75, 80? That said, I'm in on this movie. I want to see This is James Mangold. This is a proper send-off for Indiana Jones, or it's supposed to be. And the last one we got was just so bad that I'm hoping we can get this. It's good, and we could pretend Crystal Skull never happened. If it is good, let's do that. Let's just make a pact now. We're all just going to pretend Crystal Skull never happened. We'll think of it like Crystal Pepsi was just a bad idea, and we pretend it doesn't exist. Rumor is Mutt is dead. Well, he should be. He wasn't a very good character. He wasn't played by a very good actor. And he really was just annoying. But yeah, so that's where we're at on. I do love the opening though. My memory's not that good. Are you still a Nazi? Good opening line for a trailer. It was a good trailer. It got people's attention, and I don't know many people who don't know who Indiana Jones is. So you could do the little faster paced one, and they didn't. They didn't do the super jump cut. There were some moments that it actually stopped and paused, and when we get to see is it Rhys Davies back as from the original movies, I'm excited for this big time. This is what I've been waiting for. So all right. Then of course the two big trailers we got. Let's talk about Guardians first. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. They took, I think it's Rainbow did the song, and they did some amazing stuff with that song because they made it go from a basic rock song into something that's more akin to a funeral dirge. And all of the lines in this trailer come across like they really want us to know that a lot of people are going to die in this. We're going to lose some Guardians. And it makes sense because we know some Guardians are done. We know Dave Bautista is done as Drax. He doesn't want to come back. He doesn't want to do shirtless stuff anymore. He wants to move on. He wants to get more diverse roles. He wants to do comedy. He wants to be a leading man in something, like a romantic lead. More power to him. I hope he gets it. I like the guy. I think he's great in what he's done, and I'll give him a shot at anything he wants to try. But he's done with Drax. Yeah, since you've been gone. But it is Rainbow, right? But that's supposed to be, since you've been gone, out of my head, can't take it. And they slow that down so much, and they drop it into almost a minor key. But they do it with the original recording, which is, I think, fascinating too. So it's not like it's somebody doing a cover of it remastered. I mean, they did it to the regular song. So I think that set an amazing mood for it. And also it is appropriate because of how important the music has always been in the Guardian movies. How they play a key role to who Star-Lord is, who Peter Quill is. So having another song that fits in with all the other ones they've done, but then twisting it, as they get near the High Evolutionary, twisting everything. And that's what High Evolutionary is all about, is twisting things. And that's kind of what I took away from that, is that there is this real sense of foreboding that they wanted to give us. And that, like I said, I don't think we're coming out of it with all the Guardians intact. I think they'll keep Mantis around and probably Nebula, but I think any of the rest of them are possible. And they're also all, got to be coming up to the end of their contracts too. So how many do you keep around? How many do you let go? Is Chris Pratt going to come back, or is he done? Is Zoe Saldana want to do the green makeup anymore? Bradley Cooper voicing Rocket. I could see him coming back just because it's an easy gig. And same with Vin Diesel on Groot. But it feels like this is the end of Rocket's story. So, and you kind of need Rocket and Groot together. They're kind of a team in a sense. So anyone could voice Groot and Rocket. They could, but Kevin Feige is also pretty good about trying to keep things. So, but again, a voiceover thing, you're more likely to stick around. You don't have to work out to get in shape to play Groot. Bradley Cooper's not out there, having to hit the gym 7 days a week to play Rocket. It's literally you pull up in one day, you read all the scripts, you get some good inflection points, and you're done. So Orpentine says, I think MCU is the golden ticket still. Not sure why anyone would walk away over money. I don't think they will walk away over money, but I think there's a point where there's a commitment level to the MCU. So for somebody like Bradley Cooper, it's a one-day thing. It's nothing. But think about Chris Pratt, who has kind of gotten to the point where he's leading TV series, he's leading movies, and he's committed to this character. How much longer does he want to be? Because this is his prime, basically. This has to supersede all the other movies. So he has to turn down other things because of his commitment to Marvel. How long does he want to do that for? Or does he want to move on? I mean, Chris Evans wanted to move on. Robert Downey Jr. eventually moved on. And I mean, I think everybody will eventually move on. Mark Ruffalo, why he keeps doing it, I don't know, but he seems to be enjoying it. But me personally, I'd love for them all to stay. I'd love to have every movie with Steve Rogers, Captain America in it. But Orpentine says, I mean, working out is a reward in its own. I would love to have a job that paid me to be in shape. Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm 100% with you on that. But so, I think they're doing a lot to lead us to believe that we're going to lose certain characters. You hear Rocket saying, we'll fly off one last time. And you hear Drax saying, I'm about, fighting with them. And we get the image of, is it Nebula carrying Quill? Somebody carrying Quill. So there's a lot set up to make it look like things are going to die. So also we get our first look at Adam Warlock in action. I think that looked really cool. But again, I think we're going to get another trailer, which will be a little more, give us a little more to go on when we get closer to the movie. We're still months away, and Ant-Man hasn't come out yet. So I think we'll probably get another trailer in April, because they're talking about a Disney investor meeting in April. So we'll probably get a big trailer there as well for Guardians. And we'll probably get our first Marvel's trailer there too. So, all right, let's do our second break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the biggie, The Flash. Be right back.
Comic Collectibles is here for you every Wednesday with AR Comics for two very important reasons: to sell you rare, one-of-a-kind comics that you'll love, and to confuse AR with old man talk. You see, Rex and John are, how should I put this, ancient as the roots of the mountains. So every week, Rex and John fill in AR in yet another area of pop culture that he missed because he's too young, just didn't have the time, or just really doesn't care about. It's a real public service they provide. Come buy some super rare and unique comics, while old men explain long-dead sci-fi shows to a younger man making that confused puppy face. Every Wednesday from 6 to 8 Eastern with Rex, John, and AR Comics. Comic Collectibles on The Experience. Comic culture and sales.
You know how when you go to Comic-Con, after Comic-Con, you go to the hotel bar, and there's a whole bunch of people playing music and dancing, and you've got Pikachu and Lara Croft Tomb Raider doing the cha-cha slide just down from Deadpool and Batman and Wonder Woman? That's every Saturday night over on the Experience Twitch channel. Join Taji Beats for the EXP Dance Party, exclusively on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Go follow The Experience on TikTok at @the_EXP1 or scan the QR code on the screen. Our TikTok is like everywhere else we are, except you only have to deal with us for a minute. Seems like a win-win to me. Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks, information, and all of the relevant links for all of the shows you want to see. Sign up now on our website or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience. It is Valentine's Day, so please remember that when it comes to your significant others. We don't want you guys in trouble. All right. We are going to talk about Nick Barucci's favorite superhero, and that is The Flash. And we're going to talk about the trailer that dropped that blew everybody's mind. And I think that's pretty safe to say that everybody's mind was blown. Give me 1 second. Okay. The thing is that we've seen some footage, but we got our first actual appearance of Michael Keaton in the bat suit, and he says the iconic line, "Yeah, I'm Batman." And right there, I think everybody was like, "Oh yeah, all right, woo!" And there's been a lot of people going, "I don't know. I mean, Ezra Miller, we should have gotten rid of him. They should have just taken him out, or they should have canceled the film." And DC is coming out going, "No, this is a really good film. It's a really, really good film. So we're going to put it out, and we're just going to be really good about it and keep him quiet, and hopefully everybody will go." Why is it Supergirl? I think it's Supergirl because they're basically doing Flashpoint, and they didn't want to confuse things too much. Where if you've read the Flashpoint book, Superman is taken in by the government and kept in a facility where he's away from the sun, and he just turns into this little 90-pound weakling. I think the idea is we use Supergirl in that role from the story because we don't want to confuse with the Superman we have. So I think they were just trying to twist it a little bit. Just like they're using Michael Keaton's Batman instead of in the Flashpoint thing, it's Thomas Wayne. Now, they're saying Michael Keaton's back as Batman. He could be playing Thomas Wayne for all we know. Maybe he is or isn't. I mean, there's so many things about this that we saw in the clip that it could be. We know there's going to be a dark version of the Flash in it. But, I started getting a lot of weird vibes off of this. We're seeing Barry go back in the past, and Ben Affleck Batman warns him that it could cause problems. But we see him go back, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe he does heed it, but it's actually the other Flash, the younger Flash, that goes back and does it. Or maybe that younger Flash is actually Reverse Flash. There's so many things it could be. There's so many weird vibes off of that. Yeah. No, I do. Yeah, Michael Keaton could be playing Thomas Wayne, which would really make it interesting, because then if he does the note that Thomas Wayne gives Barry to take back to, then he'd be giving it to Ben Affleck or giving it to whoever the new Batman is. Or there's just so many possibilities here. Now, I know that they've cut a lot of cameo scenes and stuff, but since we've already got Ben Affleck in it, it would be interesting to see the note come back thing. Because as I watch that trailer, more and more it feels like they are doing Flashpoint. That they're really just adapting the story more so than just, we're going to use the idea that he changed the past. It feels like they're actually they're going to do that story. It says one of his batsuit does have holsters. Yeah, but somebody said who works in the film that there isn't any guns on that suit, so it could be a holster for his grappling gun, something like that. So at least that's the impression they're giving, unless they want to hide the fact that he's actually Thomas Wayne. But that would be a neat twist, wouldn't it? So I thought the trailer was really good. I think it's made me excited for the movie, which I didn't think I was going to. I didn't expect to see Affleck's Batman in action, in suit, especially, and they're using the blue and gray suit, which I think is interesting. They say comic accurate, but I don't think he was ever supposed to be blue and gray. They used blue to highlight black. So I don't know if Batman was ever supposed to be blue and gray, or if he was supposed to be black and gray, and that's just the way they do it in comics. Either way, we get that suit. We get to see him in action. We get to see a Batman on a motorcycle, and it, of course, is reminiscent of Christian Bale on the Batpod. And I know there's a lot of rumors about Bale right now because of a certain scooper saying that the new Batman is actually going to be older and one of the Batmans from the past. That said, I don't think that's Bale. I think that's Affleck riding a motorcycle. I think that's all from the Ben Affleck scenes. But I'm really fascinated by how much we did get to see. We get to see the Batwing's been rebuilt, and the Batmobile, and we get to see inside the cave, and we get the Batwing firing missiles, and Zod. They're bringing the whole Zod Man of Steel plot line back, which I thought was fascinating. So, I mean, as much as they're talking about, we're going to get away from Zack Snyder stuff and we're going to do a reboot, they're taking a big dip into the Zack Snyder pool before they're going to rebooting it. I mean, they're embracing it before they're walking out. They're giving their ex a hug before they leave. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That's a big to go all the way back to Man of Steel, the first Zack Snyder movie, to bring back Michael Shannon. I mean, because it's more than just footage. There's new stuff. So they brought Michael Shannon back, which there's been rumors about for a while now. And I'm not the biggest Ezra Miller fan, even before all this stuff happened. He's a bit too scattered for my taste for Barry Allen. Some of the acting choices and the weird ass way he runs. But this one has made me want to see this. Now I'm eagerly anticipating it, where I haven't really been eager for a DC movie in a while. I mean, I wanted to see Black Adam because I wanted to see Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. And I saw it as soon as it hit HBO Max. I'll be in the theater to see The Flash. And I think a lot of people will be. So it says he moves like an Inspector Gadget type instead of a Flash type. Yep. It's just a very weird way he runs. It's almost like he's swimming. Like swimming standing up. Kind of swings his arms through. So maybe it's some kind of thing they decided that the Speed Force feels like it's moving through liquid. And he, I don't know. Nick says that's the exact reason I wanted to see Black Adam. Love Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, same here. And also, I'm a fan of Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. But I'm a fan of Aldous Hodge from back in Leverage and stuff like that. So for me, those two were amazing. And if they're doing a reboot and they're keeping anything from the Black Adam movies, Dr. Fate and Hawkman, please. So, all right, guys, we are going to wrap it up here. Please remember to stick around. We got in stores this week. We've got Minute to Skim It, and we've got Country Road Comics tonight. So we got a great lineup. Remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down there. And because we've got that big giveaway coming up, the 15 CGC graded comics. So you'll want to get that. So stick around. In stores this week is coming up next. Here.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.